Is the U.S. losing its superpower status? For nearly a century, the United States has been the world's dominant superpower. Its military strength, economic influence, and cultural reach have shaped global politics like no other nation in modern history. But today, many believe that America's dominance is fading. So is the U.S. really losing its superpower status? If so, what are the reasons behind this decline? And what does it mean for the future of global leadership? Let's break it down. There at 1. The rise and fall of superpowers. Throughout history, great empires have risen and fallen. The Roman Empire, the British Empire, and the Soviet Union all had their time at the top before declining. The U.S. emerged as a global superpower after World War II. Its economy boomed, its military became the most advanced, and its influence spread worldwide through trade, diplomacy, and culture. But today, cracks are beginning to show. From economic struggles to political instability and rising global competitors, America faces serious challenges. The big question is, are these just temporary setbacks, or is the U.S. truly in decline? 2. The economic challenges. One of the biggest concerns is America's economic position. Debt crisis. The U.S. national debt is over $34 trillion and growing. Many fear that endless borrowing will weaken the economy in the long run. Manufacturing decline. Over the past few decades, millions of jobs have moved overseas, especially to China. The U.S. still dominates in tech and finance, but its industrial power isn't what it used to be. Dollar dominance under threat. The U.S. dollar has been the world's reserve currency for decades. But now, countries like China, Russia, and the BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, are pushing to move away from the dollar. If that happens, it could significantly weaken the U.S. economy. China's economic rise. China is now the world's largest trading nation and is projected to overtake the U.S. as the largest economy in the next decade. As China gains power, the U.S. influence weakens. So, while the U.S. still has a strong economy, it's facing serious competition like never before. 3. Military dominance. Still the strongest, but for how long? The U.S. still has the world's most powerful military, with advanced technology, a global network of bases, and the largest defense budget. But China's military expansion. China is rapidly building its military, increasing its naval power, and challenging U.S. dominance in the Pacific. The Russia-Ukraine war. The U.S. has provided billions in aid to Ukraine, but many question if this is weakening America's own military resources. Declining public support. More Americans are questioning U.S. military interventions abroad, and there is growing political pressure to reduce overseas involvement. While the U.S. is still the top military power, other nations are catching up fast. 4. Global influence. Is America losing friends? For decades, U.S. diplomacy shaped the world, but today, America's influence is being challenged. Rising BRICS influence. The BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, are working to counterbalance U.S. influence. They are creating new financial institutions and trade alliances to challenge Western dominance. The Middle East shift. The U.S. has long been a major player in the Middle East, but now China is brokering peace deals and expanding its influence in the region. Allies looking elsewhere. Some U.S. allies are questioning if they can rely on Washington. The European Union is exploring strategic independence, and even Saudi Arabia and India are strengthening ties with China and Russia. If this trend continues, the U.S. could lose its global leadership role over time. 5. Internal problems. A house divided. Many argue that the biggest threat to U.S. power isn't foreign rivals, but internal divisions. Political polarization. The U.S. is deeply divided, with Democrats and Republicans in constant conflict. Gridlock in Washington makes it harder to solve major issues. Social unrest. Protests, rising crime, and growing distrust in government have weakened national unity. Wealth inequality. The rich are getting richer, while many struggle with high inflation and housing costs. This creates economic and social tensions. Declining trust in institutions. Fewer people trust the government, media, and even the democratic process. A country that is divided within will struggle to lead the world. If the U.S. can't fix its internal problems, its power will continue to weaken. 6. The future. Can the U.S. bounce back? Despite these challenges, the U.S. is still one of the most powerful nations in the world. It has a strong innovation sector with leading tech companies like Apple, Google, and Tesla. A powerful military that still dominates global defense. A diverse economy with a global reach. A history of resilience. The U.S. has faced crises before and recovered. But the key question is, will America adapt, or will it continue to decline? Some say the U.S. is entering a period of relative decline, where it is no longer the sole superpower, but shares power with other nations like China and India. Others believe America will find a way to stay on top, as it has in the past. The truth is, nothing is guaranteed. The world is changing fast, and the U.S. must change with it. 7. What do you think? Is the U.S. losing its superpower status, or is this just a temporary decline? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a video on the biggest topics shaping our world.